Cedar Point, Magic Mountain, Alton Towers. Everyone knows these parks because they're incredible coaster lamps, and for good reason. I'm sure that all enthusiasts would love to have one of these as their home park, but there are, however, some parks with great lineups that tend to go unnoticed. This can be for a variety of reasons, including obscureness or maybe the park not being the greatest. So here, we're going to take a look at some of those overlooked parks. Also, this ranking will be based on how good the lineup is compared to its reputation, and not just going by what has the best coaster lineup. So with that said, let's get going. To kick off the list, we have Tusenfryd, Norway's major park. Tusenfryd shows up here because of the MJ effect, meaning that they're overshadowed, thus making the park not seem that great. Right next door is Groenland, Kolmarden, and Liseberg, so many people choose to go to those places and don't have time for Tusenfryd. But they have a solid top 3 with Super Splash, the Mach Water Coaster, Thunder Coaster, the Vekoma Woody, and Speed Monster, the Intamin Hydraulic Launch Coaster. This is much better than a lot of European parks, so I would say get more attention. I'm looking at you, Drayton Manor. Number 19 brings us to Korsan Adasi in Constantinople. Yeah, I know the city's called Istanbul, but I don't care because Constantinople sounds cooler. But anyway, no one talks about this place ever, and they have a clone of Ice Speed. I mean, I feel like a place with the clone of one of the best Blitz coasters should at least get mentioned around once or twice, but I guess not. But the reason that this ranks so low is because, as for the rest of the lineup, it's mostly family coasters. The number 18 spot brings us to Wonder Island in St. Petersburg, Russia. I can guarantee you that if I had never made my best coaster in every country video, I would have no idea that this place exists. They do, however, have some good rides. They have Big Roller Coaster, an interesting looking family coaster, and Whirlwind Looping Coaster of Vekoma MK1200. But those aren't the main 2 rides. In their collection, there's literally a ride named, get ready for it, Velikoluksky Miasakombinat. It's a clone of Blue Fire that literally translates to Velikoluksky Meat Processing Plant. But that's not all. They have another ride, an Intamin 10 inversion looper named, get ready, Velikoluksky Miasakombinat 2.
Six Flags!
But anyway, it's not the names that landed here. It's mainly because I'm sure most people watching this probably haven't heard of them. Heide Park comes at the number 17 spot. This is a park that everyone knows about, but I don't think people really know just the quality of their lineup. Their quality coasters include Bob-On, a somewhat rare mock bobsled, Colossus, an Intamin prefab, Desert Race, an Intamin accelerator, Inflector Demonin, a B&M wing coaster with 5 inversions, and Crake, a Master Fleet themed B&M dive coaster. Each of these rides complement each other so well, and I wouldn't really say that they're missing anything. It's because of this that I think Heide Park should get more attention. At number 16, we have supposedly the worst SeaWorld park, Seaworld San Diego. I think that's mainly because of that title that a lot of people just write the park off. But before we do that, let's take a look. There's Emperor, a dive coaster, an underrated coaster model that is just pure fun. There's Tidal Twister, a decent flat ride coaster hybrid. Journey to Atlantis, a Mach water coaster. Manta, a Mach multi-launch, and Electric Eel, a Skyrocket 2. Yeah, it's definitely not the greatest lineup in the world, but they do have 5 solid coasters. Nothing bad, but nothing amazing, so I don't understand how people can hate on this park. 15 brings us to Disneyland Paris. It is a belief that many people hold that all Disney parks just have trash coasters. This thought process has been unfairly applied to Disneyland Paris. But to that I say,
Hold up! Wait a minute!
let's take a look. They have the biggest of the Big Thunder mountain rides, and these feature some of the most impressive scenery and rockwork that you will ever see in your life. Then there's Indiana Jones et le Temple du Péril.
Sunkar par loop har gestelt geld shall expart effects beyond good.
Another ride that isn't the most intense, but still has an inversion and amazing scenery. Then finally you have Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain Rebel Mission, a ride that I would describe as a Space Mountain Incredible Hulk hybrid themed to the greatest movie franchise in history. When you put those 3 together, I think that creates a decent lineup that shouldn't just go under the bubble of trash Disney coasters. Happy Valley Beijing comes at the 14th spot. When you think of Happy Valley parks, a lot of people just think of Chinese Six Flags and Sean from Theme Park Worldwide's disastrous day in Wuhan. They don't usually think how good the parks can actually be. Beijing has jungle racing, a Vekoma mine train, Golden Wings over the snowfield, a modern SLC, Crystal Wing, a B&M Superman Ultimate Flight clone, Family Inverted Coaster, one of the rare B&M family coasters, Fly the Himalayan Eagle Music Roller Coaster, a B&M Hyper, and yes, that's actually the name. And finally, Extreme Rusher, an SS Air Launch coaster, some of the most underrated coaster models out there. Every single one of these rides is good at being what they are, and they just have so many types of rides. 13 is Gongju World in South Korea. South Korean coasters seem to always be about T-Express and Everland, but not everyone realizes that there's really another decent park that I would argue has a slightly better lineup than Everland, because Everland really is nothing other than T-Express. But Gyeongju has 2 great B&M coasters. There's Draken, a brand new Griffin clone, which features those looser over-the-shoulder restraints that most people prefer, and the other is Phaethon, an upper tier B&M invert that has 6 inversions. With that too, Gongju should really be considered the premier South Korean park. At number 12, I have Parque Warner Madrid. When you think of Spanish parks, what do you think of? Most people think of PortAventura, but Parque Warner actually is a great collection too. They have Coaster Express, 4,500 feet of RCCA goodness, Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Clone with VR, Stuntfall of Vekoma Giant Inverted Boomerang, and Superman La Attraction de Acero, an upper tier floorless coaster that actually translates to Superman Ride of Steel. I know, that might sound crazy, but I think that's a lineup that can rival PortAventura. 11 brings us to Italy's Maryville India. At Maryville India, you got Desmo Race, a brand new single rail spike coaster, the model that is going to be on some carnival cruises in the future. There's Divertical, a monstrous Intamin water coaster, Gold Digger, a flat-out jank machine, iSpeed, an Intamin Blitz, and Katoon, a B&M invert. As you can see, it's not just iSpeed like the park is known for. They have that variety that is necessary for every major park to succeed. The next park on the list is Valley Fair. A lot of people just write Valley Fair off as a second worst Cedar Fair park without even thinking about it because that's what everyone says. But let's just take a look at their lineup. It's pretty decent. They got Excalibur, the juiced up mine train, High Roller, a smooth classic woody with some fantastic airtime, Steel Venom, an intense launch coaster with a holding brake that actually works, Wild Thing, a mediocre hyper, but still hyper, so it's going to be a great ride. Also very rideable. And finally, the daddy of all American GCIs, Renegade. That is a solid lineup that is very respectable and in a Cedar Fair run park creates an overall nice experience. Coming in at the number 9 spot is Chime-Long Paradise. The reason that this lineup doesn't get more attention is because it's at a park in China, and let's be real, China isn't exactly the greatest place in the world. But that shouldn't take away from how parks should be judged. Chime-Long Paradise has a great top 5 with an Intamin 10 version and half-pipe coaster, a Vekoma motorbike, a B&M dive, and a Premier Ride Sky Rocket 2, but the park is still unfortunately overshadowed by its big brother Chime-Long Ocean Kingdom. We have another Chinese park that comes in at number 8. That park is Happy Valley Shanghai. The park is in the same boat as Happy Valley Beijing, with those parks that don't have the best reputations. They got a Sheikah clone, a B&M family invert, a legendary Gravity Group Woody, and one of the best models out there, an Intamin Megalite. For creds that every coaster enthusiast in the world would love to get, yet no one talks about these Happy Valley parks individually. Number 7, in my opinion, is Thorpe Park in the UK. Thorpe unfortunately has to play second fiddle to Alton Towers, leading to many people thinking of it in not the best light. I don't understand this reasoning though, because they still have Colossus, an Intamin 10 inversion, Nemesis Inferno, a B&M invert, Saw the Ride, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, Swarm, the first B&M wing coaster, and Stealth, an Intamin accelerator. Just give them an airtime focused ride, and that's one of the best lineups in Europe. Thorpe deserves more respect. At number 6, I have Six Flags St. Louis. I don't understand why people think of Six Flags St. Louis as one of the worst Six Flags parks. I would say that everything there except the water park is solid, and yes, that even includes the coaster lineup. Every single coaster at Six Flags St. Louis I enjoyed, and yes, that even includes Ninja. American Thunder is one of the best woodies I've ridden, and Mr. Freeze is the most intense coaster I've been on. Boss is also crazy in its own right. Now they just need another airtime-based attraction, and with that, I'd be crazy enough to say that's one of the best coaster lineups in America. Number 5 on the list is Seaworld San Antonio. Unfortunately, they have to live in the shadow of 2 parks, Six Flags Fiesta Texas and Seaworld Orlando, leaving many people to forget about them. But again, just because they suffer from the MJ effect doesn't mean that the park is a bad lineup. In their collection, they have a Batman clone, a Simply Fun Mac multi-launch, a solid water coaster, a Morgan airtime machine, and a top-tier North American GCI. Now do you see why they're this high on the list? When we're talking about SeaWorld, it almost always seems to be about the Orlando park, when San Antonio has a lineup that's almost as good. At number 4, I have Ferrari World Abu Dhabi. Yes, I know a lot of enthusiasts are like, blah blah blah, Flying Aces, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, I get it. Some people might also bring up Formula Rossa because it's the world's fastest coaster, but no one ever really talks about the actual ride experience. And beyond that, hardly anyone talks about the other coasters that they have, and they do have some good ones. There's Fiorano Gt Challenge, a racing multi-launch coaster, Turbo Track, an Intamin 210-foot tall shuttle coaster, and the new for 2020 Monster SFX coaster, in addition to Formula Rossa and Flying Aces. It's not just 2 coasters, it's a complete collection. Next on the list is Six Flags Over Georgia. Over Georgia doesn't have the best reputation with a lot of people because a lot of people see it as one of the worst Six Flags parks, and sometimes that leads people to just assuming that their lineup is bad. But that couldn't be further from the truth. They got maybe the best Batman clone, Blue Hawk, a Vekoma Vest Restraint Looper, Daredevil Dive, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, Georgia Scorcher, one of the better stand-ups, Goliath, one of the best B&M Hypers, Mindbender, and Intense Schwarzkopf, the best Superman Ultimate Flight Clone, and Twisted Cyclone, an RMC hybrid. That's an incredible lineup, so people should definitely not look down upon this park like they do. The number 2 park I have heard of before, but I was just astonished at the sheer number of coasters that they have. That park is Wonderland Eurasia with their 17 coasters. Now they kind of pulled a Canada's Wonderland where only 1 or 2 of them are actually good, but still, 17 coasters. 1 less than Cedar Point and 2 less than Magic Mountain. Plus what's even more impressive is that all 17 of them opened in 2019. If you don't believe me, look it up. We're down that number 1 spot, and I'd have to put Six Flags Over Texas there. Ask anyone who hasn't been to that park, and they'd probably say that the first Six Flags park is just a mid-tier one nowadays. If you ask them how many coasters there are, they'd probably say around 10. But no, they have a total of 14 coasters, some of which are some of the best coasters in the world. Those being the first RMC, New Texas Giant, and one of the best Schwarzkopf's, Shockwave, and the Mega Intense Hyper Titan. To go with that, they got 11 more just solid coasters, and that's all that park really needs, solid coasters. Thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to leave your thoughts, suggestions, and video ideas in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.